Alright, welcome to the Football Academy Network podcast with myself, Big Nath and Big C. We're lucky enough today to be joined by Kieran Cadogan. Now, Kieran's had an interesting journey in football, been around, he's playing here in England and playing abroad. Carlan, anything you want to pitch in and start and say?
I know you know more, South London buddies and all that, but when I first heard the story, it was kind of like me and Nathan have been trying to get you on the show and trying to hear your journey, because I think, to be honest, there's lots of things that you don't hear about getting into a first team, being an academy player and all those sorts of things that I personally believe young people can listen to, and kind of understand in terms of the environment, and also, yeah, for me also it comes back to the young people and what they can hear about what it's really like and appreciate what they've got won, and also know the sort of the things that they got to deal with, which I think is really important. So yeah, thank you for coming.
No, my pleasure.
Alright, to break the ice. So speaking to a few people that listen to the podcast, I want to hear a bit more, I'll say, trivial things about our guests. And shout out to Barry Down, and Barry was one of the people that come up with this idea for the 1 minute, 10 question scenario. Thinking about it, 1 minute might not be long enough, but we'll see how we get on, alright? So, we'll crack on straight away. Our first question is... what's the first question? Oh yeah, sorry. Your best academy memory?
My best academy memory probably is actually going on holiday with all my teammates. We went to Ayia Napa.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know. 2008.
Yeah.
We went to Ayia Napa, and yeah, you know what happens in Napa stays in Napa and all that.
We say something football based.
Nah, mate.
Cool. Alright, the best academy coach you worked under?
Academy coach I've got, I have to say Gary is it for me. He gave me all his time and, you know, really developed me as a player.
Oh, nice. Your favourite playing position?
On the wing or 10.
Play 10, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Take it.
Yeah. Your best goal you scored?
Best goal I've scored. The best memory of a goal I scored was probably at Crystal Palace against QPR. That was a great memory, but...
Is that the debut one?
No, that wasn't a debut,
Oh,
no.
okay.
That, again, it's a different kind of memory, but...
Yeah.
No, you know, I'm going to go with the QPR, against QPR, that was the best moment.
Cool. Alright, the worst part about being an apprentice?
In my days, it was cleaning boots.
Okay.
Cleaning boots was a chore.
Yeah, it still happens now, that's why. The best thing about being an apprentice?
Just coming out of school and then going into
What?
coming out of school
okay.
and then going to do something that doesn't feel like a job. It's just something you enjoy, you live it, you breathe it every day.
I say the school thing, but education is like...
Yeah, I know.
You can't really say that. One thing you would change in football. So if you could change one thing in football, what would you change?
The amount of pressure a player feels from different aspects.
Cool, I like that one. The best player you've played with that's playing or had a career?
Two sides of the coin. You've obviously got Zaha, then also played with Edgar Davids, which is like a legend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
different reasons.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. And the best player you've played with that didn't make it, that never got a professional contract. Meant it would be the academy football, might have been. It's on the end.
Oh, boy, that one there. There's loads of guys from the area that was silly. They were just sick, but didn't make it. That's a tough one, you know.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. That's kind of stunned me.
Yeah. No names.
No names.
Alright, we might even try to come back to that
Yeah,
one.
come back to that one.
But that probably leads us nicely into our kind of first question. It would be like, how did your academy experience, your academy journey start? How did it?
Well, I started quite young in terms of I played Sunday League from the age of since you could start, so probably 5. And we had scouts in the area that would come down to our games, and I got picked up and went to Arsenal I was under 8s when I went to Arsenal, and I was there from under 8s to under 10s, and that's where I really got the call of football. And but for me, coming from South London, it was a bit of a journey going to Highbury. I think it was like twice a week. So my parents would literally have to get me from school.
That was the old JVC sort of
Yeah.
Astro,
And to try and beat the traffic, we'd literally have to leave straight away. And obviously my parents working, so they've had to cut times off of work to take me there. And I don't think we really understood how much of a big deal it was at the time, because like sometimes if it was my dad's birthday, for example, we would be like, let's not go today, let's go out to eat or something like that. And it led to the reason why I got released, because I would be missing days.
He's not committed. Family's not committed.
Yeah, all that stuff. But that was where I really learned my core foundation. After that, I went to Fulham, which was a bit more local. Which was good as well. But then I started to feel, I wouldn't say pressure, but I started to not enjoy it as much. I felt like, I just wanted to go back to Sunday League and just have fun. I can run past the whole team. I can do that. Not everything, even training, it was stop-startish, because obviously the teaching, you're trying to learn, where I just wanted just to play. And so I went back.
And it's difficult, and that's the battles that probably happen for young boys now, and they probably don't talk about it, and they probably don't, because they don't want to maybe upset a parent or upset a coach or devalue the opportunity they have, where you got sort of like thousands of boys knocking at the door of an academy. But it's something that obviously academies and people got to really think about, because if we got talented boys that are going, I don't really like the environment, it's tough really.
I also think the vast majority of families go through what you did at Arsenal.
Yeah, 100%.
Rushing from school to get there, and you
100%.
get there, you train, and by the time you get back home, the same journey again 2 days later. So I definitely know it's a big, or the vast majority of people do have that kind of experience, 100%. So then obviously you've done the Fulham, the pressure, and how did you feel? What was
So then I went back to Sunday League, did that for a couple of years, but it was way too easy for me. And not to be big-headed, but it was.
That was my level, but
that was me, mate.
it was way too easy for me. So I then decided to get an agent and try and get some trials for. But at this stage now, I'm about 16. So year 11, I've got the choice now. Do I go into football or do I go to sixth form or college? And I wanted to go to football. So I spent towards the back end of year 11, and it spread over into the 6 weeks holidays of trying to get into clubs. So I went on trial at Crystal Palace, it went really well, but then Gary, funny enough, said to me that, look, not quite there yet, and we've got a big batch of boys that I couldn't even promise you game time, come back next year. And so I kind of took that as a you're fobbing me off kind of thing. So I went to sixth form for a year.
Wow.
And then
so you went to sixth form college for a year, full-time education.
I had no team to go to, so I went to my sixth form at my school, and
what school you got?
I went to Graveney.
Oh yeah, too.
Yeah, and studied psychology, law, sports. Again, I wasn't enjoying it. I was doing it because mummy said you got to go to school if you're not going to go to football. So anyway, so I did that. And I was also at a team called Fisher, which is Gavin Rose and Junior Caddy, who they Dulwich Hamlet right now. And that was kind of semi-ish pro, because they used to do like a one day in the morning, and then you got to go to school. And luckily my school said, all right, it can work. We know you want to play football, it can work. But again, done really well there. And then the year come, and I had an opportunity to go to Fulham on trial. Or to go back to Palace on trial after what Gary said to me the year before. I didn't want to go back to Palace because I just thought he's fobbed me off. I'm not calling him. I'm going to see all the same boys that I saw last year. They're going to think, oh, you're a joke, man. Like, what?
Trying it again.
Yeah, you're coming back.
What are you coming back for?
Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to go to Fulham and just start a new path. But it was actually my mum that said to me, no, I think you should go back to Palace. Somebody's telling me you go back to Palace. And I'm saying, Mum, I saw everyone last year. No, I don't want to go there. And then we just going back and forth and discussing reasons why I should go to Palace. And then I trusted her, I went to Palace, and yeah.
That's history.
Rest is history, yeah.
Cool. And then, I know Carlan normally touches upon this with the guests. In terms of like your background, like you're South London, and I'm from South London, but Carlan again, west, isn't it? More west.
Northwest.
So, in terms of like growing up, like, what is it? I just come from watching Blue Story, and Blue Story is not really how I grew up. So, in terms of like your growing up, how did it, or how was it?
So when I made the decision, well, I didn't make the decision. I got forced to leave Fulham and go back to Sunday League. Obviously, so we would train on Saturdays and then play matches on Sundays. After the Saturday session, or even it might be a Friday evening session, some of the team would end up just hanging around after, doing what teenagers do. Just go to the shopping centre, chill out, do silly stuff, get bored and get up to silly things. This was a regular occurrence, and then situations happened, and then I found myself I got stabbed in my leg. It was about 2 inches from a major artery, so anything could have happened. But then I had the decision to make: do I retaliate and then get deeper into that life, or do I concentrate on my dream and try and play football? And that's the path I tried to take. And it was about a year later when this whole Palace ordeal come up for me. So,
and what did you feel? I mean, you already talked about pressure. Was there a different sort of pressure in regards to being around that sort of lifestyle? You know what I mean? You're a talented footballer, but at the same time, is football gonna really happen for me? I am pursuing it, but I'm not really in it yet, and I got my peer group, and all those sorts of pressures that come with being part of a peer group. How was that?
I feel like there was a sort of period where I was a bit lost, where I wasn't really focusing on football. I was just, obviously, I'm enjoying it. I'm still growing. I'm hanging around with my friends. The hanging around with my friends is what I kind of missed out on my early years because of Arsenal and Fulham.
Yeah.
So now I've got that time to really hang with my friends, but not really realising that I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing. And so I wouldn't say it was pressure, because I didn't really think about it like that at that age until this situation happened, where I thought, hold on, I'm in pretty deep here. How have I got hit? So I think that's something that people need to be aware of.
Definitely.
And then, not to dwell on the subject too long, but okay, you've been stabbed. What was like the next things that happened in your household in terms of like your parents? Because obviously, sometimes we forget people or young people have families, and after obviously you've been stabbed. No, it can't be nice for your mother. And how did that all play out? And your father, how did that all play out?
Well, it was. Obviously, it wasn't good. Obviously, my mum was asking me the question like, "What's going on? What happened?" I'm stuttering, telling her like, Mum, my dad reacting differently as fathers would do. It just had to be something that just kind of blew over with time. I was recovering. I was still in school, so that kind of pushed me to, all right, and if I'm not gonna do football, let me get into my studies just to please them and try and get back on the right path. So.
It's quite academic subjects you were doing.
Very academic, high level. Very academic subject.
Crazy no joke.
So it's a good school to be fair. So
That's interesting.
And then in terms of actually getting back to playing football, how quick was you able to play football after sustaining an injury like that?
I think it was like 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 or 5 weeks, yeah. That was back.
So, very interesting. All right, so you go back to Palace now, 17. How does it take off? What happens there?
Well, it's just academy games. Just playing regular. Again, I'm just in awe of where I am from last year, where I was in college.
You're hungry.
Yeah. So.
Who were your teammates at that time, by the way?
We had players like Sean Scannell, Victor Moses, Nathaniel Klein.
Jeez.
These are just some players that you would know.
Yeah.
We also had when I went, actually, there was a player called Kieran Cadogan, and he had a trial for Man United.
Okay.
So as Palace thought he was going out, this is when I kind of come in. I was going to be his replacement, so such. It didn't work out for him, so he came back.
Yeah.
So throughout our whole academy life, it was always me and him battling for a position. So we were literally doing that for a year, and then management changed and Neil Warnock came in. And as you know, Neil Warnock, he pushes young players, and so there was a few of us he kind of grouped in, and so in pre-season he started to involve us in pre-season games. On the day he made his decision and we had all the shot away, he came to, it was three of us, me, Kieran Cadogan and James Conley. He came and said, I'm going to offer you guys a professional contract. This was at the beginning of the game. So everyone was buzzing. Played the game. On the last second when the whistle blew, I got smashed on my ankle and fractured a bone in my ankle. Yeah. So now I've gone home, distressed obviously, but panicking, like he promised me a pro, like what happens now? And you know in football, like anything can happen. So the next day though, he when I went in, he spoke to me and said, listen, I told you I'm gonna give you a pro, I'm gonna stick to my deal and just recover. So then done that. This was obviously a pre-season. Went back with the academy once just to get fit and everything. And the last 4 games we started to involve the young guys as Palace was safe. And scored on my debut on that one, and that was just like it was a dream. It didn't even feel real, you know, running out on the pitch, and I couldn't even say I was nervous because I didn't feel like it was happening.
Adrenaline's running.
Yeah, everything's running. Yeah,
so happy. I mean, so Warnock gives you your pro deal. You're kind of in and around the first team. What's that like? What are some of the things that, if you were saying to a young person now to consider or be ready for, or if you get your chance, all those sorts of good advice that you'd give someone?
I would say soak up. You know, listen more than you speak, because you feel like you know a lot, and you know some personalities are just very vocal. That's the way they are. But there's so much to learn. There's so much you don't know, and be prepared to listen is the biggest thing I would say.
I mean, we get that all the time where young people, and we feel that sometimes they don't have that skill to listen more. Just that kind of skill that you're probably transitioning into more of a young man than a boy, and you start to think, hang on a minute, I know more now, but actually you don't know more, and that's a good piece of advice, I think.
But then I feel like the dangerous thing is that because you're with the first team every day, you kind of see yourself as the first team, so you should, you earn the right. Yeah. But I mean, some of these players have played 600 league games. You've played 3. Do you know what I mean? If that, if that. Training. So I feel like there's a line that you need to be wary of and aware of. And just don't get ahead of yourself too quickly.
So then obviously now you've done your scholarship, you're a young birth, you're August baby, so then your pro deal kicks in a little bit later, you start getting a little bit more money now. How do you manage your finances? How do you cope with that sudden increase in more money?
Well, I'll break it down like this. So before I was driving like
yes. Yes.
Oh, the actors as well. I need all of it.
So I was driving my first car was a Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
And then it was a manual. So when I broke my ankle, it was my left ankle, so I couldn't use the clutch. Oh. So then I had to trade my car and get an Astra. It was automatic. So I was just driving around space.
I had a Vauxhall Astra automatic as well, you know. I had a great one.
So I was driving around the Vauxhall Astra. Yeah. I had this for a couple of years. After Neil Warnock left, George Burley came in, and now I started to play more regularly.
How do you deal with that Warnock leaving as a person? Like, for example, I know young people or young players, young people, that someone's given them their break, they have that allegiance to that person. So once that person goes,
they think
it's like a bit of abandonmentship and all that kind of stuff. Did you ever have that, or was it just like, all right, it's gone, boy, move on kind of thing? Or did you have a bit of Was it like, oh my god?
Well, up until the time George Bradley come, we had like people like Paul Hart that came in. We had different managers, but we were going through administration.
Yeah.
And so in the back of my head, I didn't really understand it, but I just knew that they can't afford it. So surely they got to play young players if it gets.
It
So
might work out for
yeah,
me.
so that was kind of encouraging me in a sense. Of course, I was upset that obviously no one was there, he was playing me and blah blah blah. But
Definitely hear that. So then, after that bit there, and obviously maybe things obviously at Palace start to be not deteriorate but kind of slow down for you. How do you deal with possibly not being Kieran Cadogan, the next starlet, and Kieran Cadogan that's trying to struggle to get into the first team?
I don't know, because it's tough again. Like, you've got outside influences of just maybe friends, family saying, "Kieran, what's going on now? Why are you not playing?" And that kind of builds up some sort of pressure in your head, like, or you want to avoid the conversation at all times. So it's like, oh, yeah, I don't know, man, I don't know. But you feel like a form of embarrassment or a form of shame. But so the management changed again, and then I would go to the manager and ask, like, how do I get into your team? Like the things that you should do just to show that you care. But I took it to a level where I thought, let me get pen and paper. I'm gonna go to the manager, ask him, how do I get into your team? Write it down. Things if he says your feet ain't quick enough or something, I can actively work on these things and try and get in the team. So I've gone with that idea. I've gone to him and said, what do I have to do? He's told me X, Y, and Z. Some stuff were like, you don't mix with the older lot of the first team. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, okay, I'm trying to do my points on the pitch, like where I can.
Yeah.
But you just give me whatever.
It was more of a social thing and a more.
Yeah. So anyway, I took the sheet away, gone home, put it on my wall, and thought, alright, then cool, I'm gonna stick to this. And then about a couple of weeks later, I'm in the barbers in my area, and I've seen an agent, and he come up to me and said, "Kieran, like, what's going on with you?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He went, "Yeah, you're moving big time." I'm like, "What?" He went, "Yeah, you've gone up to the manager with a pen and paper. Like, what are you doing?"
Was he your agent? Was he?
No, but he's an agent I knew growing up.
Yeah.
We're
so it's
cool
gone round the circles.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking to myself, but I'm trying to do something proactive and show, but however I got viewed or however someone else has taken it,
it's come back.
It's come back and looked how it wasn't meant to look. And again, I wouldn't even call it a mistake, because it's something that I'm trying to show I'm proactive. I want to get in the team. I want to play, rather than the other side.
It's so difficult because.
Honestly, it's wrong.
Yeah, I hear that, and I think it's so difficult for the environment, because you probably, I know you coaches want players to be like that. They want them to be assertive and confident on the pitch, and want to be able to say, talk and communicate. And sometimes when they do it, it comes across in a sort of, hey, in a minute, it's just that fine line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Confidence turns into arrogance. And communication turns into you speaking too much. And it's so difficult. It's just that balance. It must be hard.
Because it can be looked at like, who the F does this little boy think he's talking to, coming with pen and paper?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. Maybe if someone else done it, it wouldn't be taken like that. It'd be taken like, oh, what a positive thing. But so the game goes.
Yeah. So you saying the agent came back, and then what did that make you feel? How did you feel?
It kind of crushed me a bit, because I was just thinking, like, so I've actually been doing these things that the manager has told me to do. So what am I doing it for? Like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? If I'm viewed this way, what am I even doing it? So it kind of crushed me a little bit. But still, I'm trying to think, right now, I've still got to prove. Even when I left Crystal Palace, I'm still thinking of this manager trying to prove him wrong. And yeah.
So you talk about the agents having to speak to you. Did you have your own agent? Did you have your own agent at the time?
Yeah, I've had several agents. I've had small agents. I've had, when I say small agents, I mean a one-man band.
Yeah.
I've had big agencies who looked after multiple and you know, your Gareth Bales and all these big things. And I felt like am I a little fish in a big pond? You know, certain times you want to get something done, whether it's I want to go out on loan or whatever. I can't get through to him, or you're just not on the priority.
You want that personal
yeah,
kind of contact that you're feeling like you're as special as the next man.
Yeah, but then you go to a little agent and he ain't got the contacts.
Yeah.
So it's again
where the balance has to be again, and I mean because we often talk about that in regards to that environment, and that's difficult in itself. You hear people saying, "Nah, I don't want an agent. I'd rather just try and deal with things myself, and if I need that sort of network, then I might tap into someone for a short period of time." And it's hearing what those kind of stories and how those relationships, and generally what we hear is the best ones is the ones that you're talking about, maybe a little bit smaller, but and then they go, well, again, they haven't got the contacts, and you go with someone bigger, but then you're one of 10 people that they're looking after, and how does that work? So
and then you're viewed as you're not loyal. You don't stick to anything. You don't stick to no one. So it's all just everything is just fine lines and everything.
Perception, isn't it?
100%.
So kind of keeping the theme variants, but then obviously looking at Palace is not going quite as well. You then go out on loan, Burton, Rotherham. How were those loan experiences?
Burton was when I was younger. I think this was under Neil Warnock when I went to Burton. It was just
Think that of Neil again.
No, this was early on. The Rotherham loan was after I was playing regularly at Palace, and then I wasn't playing, so I needed something better for myself rather than reserve football. So Burton was just a month. It was a good experience. It was my first time getting out of London, so it was good, a good experience. But the Rotherham one was a 6-month loan, and I had another year left on my Palace contract. So I went to Rotherham. Obviously, the stadium at the time, I remember there was a track around the stadium, so the fans were far away from the pitch. It was like kind of like a culture shock, as in you can't, when you're playing, you can't even hear the fans. It feels like a reserve game. The tempo of the match feels so slow because it's not like
a cauldron.
Yeah, it's not a cauldron. It felt a lot different. So I feel like when I went there, I'm away from home. I just started to get a bit I kind of just took it easy. I took my foot off a bit, thinking that I've got the security of another year at Palace. So I just kind of went through the motions on my loan at Rotherham. The manager got sacked there, and then a new manager came in, which, funny enough, the manager got sacked. I met him later on in my career at another club, which didn't go down well. But so I kind of, and you know, I would speak to the assistant at Palace, and he'll be saying, "Oh, Kieran, don't worry, you got another year." He'll be telling me these things, and I'm kind of building up. I've got security anyway, so let me just finish. Summer's coming, go on holiday, and and that's what happened there. So Rotherham wasn't the best loan spell for me at all.
What would you? I mean, again, maybe a little bit of advice for young people that in probably in a similar situation that you was in, or even just in on a contract and they're being said to go on loan, or they're thinking about going on loan, or they're not sure about loan. What would you say about loans to use as a positive experience for them?
Yeah, I would. Well, funny enough, after that loan period in that summer is when I actually left Crystal Palace.
Okay.
It came to the point where you're not going to play here, kind of. Yeah. And then I was kind of thrown off because
you thought
last year you told me about next year. Here's your chance.
Year.
And then it all changed. But so I would say to younger players that know why you're going out on loan. What do you want to achieve when you're going out on loan? Is it to get back into your first team? Is it to open the rest of the audience's eyes to you? And really focus. You know, you can go to another city and you meet other players and your teammates, and city life is great and everything. If when I went to Rotherham, it was right next to Sheffield, so it's a university there. I'm 19, 20.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
You can experience a different culture, a different part of England.
Yeah.
It's not as just London and stuff like that, which is good. So after that summer, what kind of happened? What did you do?
Well, again, an agent, Palace said I wasn't going to play, and an agent that was looking after me at the time advised me to leave. He said, "Listen, you're championship quality. Like you get a club like that." So I kind of saw him, and obviously Palace were talking about pay up and a bit of money. So I thought, but take a chunk of money and then go to another club, and then it's all good.
Yeah.
And then so I decided to do that. I took the money, left. Quiet. Everything was quiet. So then I'm pressuring the agent, like, "What's going on? You said everything to be good." He's like, "Yeah, I'm calling around. This, you know, it's not as easy as I thought it was." But I'm thinking, you told me to leave.
Yeah.
I've done that now, and I said to me, "You haven't got anything for me." So a month went by, 2 months went by, 2.5 months went by now. So he's like, "Listen, I can't do nothing for you. I don't know what to do. I've called all these, bringing a list to me. I've called all these clubs. I don't know what to do." And again, this is about maybe it's about contacts. Maybe it's how you're selling it. Maybe the last club, people are ringing around and asking my names. I don't know.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I had the opportunity to go to Aldershot, which was League 2.
Yeah.
And I had to look at myself now, because remember, I'm from League. I've still got bills that I've been paying from my car and stuff like that, and it got to a financial point where I needed to earn some money again. So where I was aiming at championship, to go back into another championship side, only League 2 was on the table, so I took it. And then they found out that I took a pay up there, so they come with the angle like, "Oh, we know
You can afford.
Yeah, you know, you got a chunk of money, so
Yeah.
this is all we can afford right now.
Yeah.
Do well, and then we'll increase it and blah 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 blah." But I literally had to take it. I didn't have anything else.
Wow.
And
again, people don't see that side, and I mean, you don't hear that side often. The only probably people that know and hear that side are the people who live it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's important for definitely young people to hear as well. I mean, sometimes you hear in all walks of academy football, players really, they might be in a situation where it's kind of, I'm secure, and they kind of think, I need to do something, and kind of not be rash, but they got to think about really take everything into consideration before they make any sort of decisions. 100%. So you went to Aldershot. How long was you there?
I was there for 2 years. Well, I had a 2-year contract, and at the time when I went there, they were struggling.
Yeah.
And they were struggling all season. We ended up getting relegated that season, and then obviously the manager left, and then the new manager who came in was the manager who was the first at Rotherham.
Yeah.
And then straight away he's walked into the room, and I've gone, "Oh my God, like, I just know what's going to happen there." And he literally shook everyone's hands and then looked at me, said, "Oh, you right?"
Oh, wow.
And I just, you get that feeling.
No shade.
No, it's no shake. I was a regular playing until he came, and then I was on the bench, and it was just like totally frozen out. So again, back in the phone book, looking like, can I get another club? Can I get out of the situation? Because there's nothing worse than you not playing at all.
Yeah, just being training and nothing. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
So obviously you've got your agent, and me and Carl was talking about before, and especially the boys that we're starting to deal with more and more. I don't know if you watch Top Boy.
Yeah.
You know the Jermaine.
Yeah.
So that kind of agent, what would you recommend for a young person, maybe 17, 18, maybe single parent as well? I spoke to Troy Townsend about it as well. Or families that may just not know about football. Like, what advice would you do, or what advice would you give about choosing the right agent, or
I feel it's very difficult, because if you're a single parent and you know nothing about football, and you're thrown into football, it can be a very overwhelming world. I feel like as long as you have someone around you that understands football, understands how things can work out, it's a starting point. When you're young, I don't really feel like you need agents. Sorry to go back to it as well. When I was at Crystal Palace, Stella, the big agency came in. Yes. The way how they signed me was that they come to my house in a Bentley, took me, my mum and dad to their office in central London, by now my parents are going crazy. They're just thinking, oh yeah, my son, look who's coming to pick us up.
He's in.
Yeah. He's in. And so all these things for young players don't get fooled, don't get thrown. But you usually need someone who cares about you.
Okay.
And who really got your best interests at heart.
Good.
I feel.
Cool. And then obviously you've gone out and played out abroad.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know it's more and more the case now that more English players are playing out abroad, especially younger players. But for you, playing out in Sweden, how was it in terms of language barrier, culture of football, food? I'm a Jamaican. I mean, I like food. Like, how did you cope with all that stuff?
Well, first of all, I latched onto the barber. There was one Jamaican barber out there. I latched onto him. So he used to sort me out with the food. But to go out there in the first place was before I went to Sweden. I was at Barnet, and the only reason I went to Barnet was because Edgar Davids was the manager, and obviously I knew him from Palace, and you know I thought it'd be all good. But then he eventually left there, and then a new manager came in, and then I just had enough. I didn't want to play conference football. I wanted to, you know, I'm a technical player, so I like to pass the ball, and it was a bit direct for me there. So an opportunity came up to go to Sweden, and their window was literally closing within 2 days. So initially it was just to the end of their season, which was 3 months. So I thought, all right, if I go, it's only 3 months, like it's not the end of the world. So I went there and really enjoyed it, which was a surprise to me because automatically I just thought I don't look like Swedish people. So is it racist? I don't know anything. And 2 days is a very short amount of time to try and research. And think.
Homes, living, where's the best?
It was literally just a leap of faith. And I went there and ended up signing another 2 years. On my last year, my cousin who also plays professionally came and played in the same team as well. So when he came, it was more at home. I felt
you know, a bit of family with you.
And other players started venturing out. There's all different types coming from England over, and it was good.
So would you recommend a young player going out, or any player really going out alone?
Abroad, 100%, because obviously the culture is different. You learn about yourself, you learn about others, which I think is really important. I remember the first day I went to the supermarket, and I bought sort of silly stuff like toothpaste, a loaf of bread. But the queue was long, so I got to the front of the queue and I went, oh no, this is the wrong bread. And the woman's gone, all right, don't worry about it. I'll change it for you. She's got up, went and got my bread, but I'm looking back like the people are gonna be cussing. But no one said anything. Everyone was just like relaxed, and I'm thinking, I'm really in a different place. This is London. People are gonna be cussing, and so the pace of life's different, and
chilled.
You know. So I think it's good for everyone. If not football alone, for life experience as well.
Yeah, for yourself. That's really good. That's really good. So I mean, I know you're still actively involved in football now, but also there's kind of sort of been a different kind of venture for you, which we've discussed and we think is really good. Talk about football buddies.
So football buddies, it's just a concept that I thought that lacked for me when I was coming through, and basically it's having a consistent mentor, a consistent someone that, you know, who's been there, done that, who could have helped me coming through. Maybe some of the decisions that I made, I wouldn't have made if someone who lived it had told me. So it's basically the company that I made is just that we want to help young players coming up. If you feel disengaged, if your motivations change, if it's switched, and everyone needs someone to talk to, if nothing else, and that's what we're there to provide, and you know, go into.
What does that look like? What does that look like in detail?
So basically, we would go to academies, and if boys in the academy are kind of acting up, or they're not feeling themselves, or they just want someone to speak. Anything could be happening at home. Just come and talk to us. Just, you know, we want to help. We want, before anything gets to a serious mental issue, speak about it. Your voice has to be heard. You may not be comfortable talking to staff members.
And that's linked to stuff that you had going on for yourself. I mean, we listened to all the sort of times that you there's kind of a lot of key times in your life, really. I don't want to say career, but life. In regards to your own experiences that you think, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but it's important, and they'll have a direct connection with you because obviously you've been in the environment. We always say that yeah, unfortunately so, the players, when they see other players who've been through the similar experiences, they have a direct connection and they go, okay, you've experienced it, you've got the knowledge, you understand, and then they can speak to you on a sort of a human level as well, which is good.
And does it necessarily have to be mental health driven? Could it be performance based, nutrition based? Is it a full 360 package?
Literally anything. Like I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I wouldn't have been through myself in football. So literally anything.
Yeah.
If you just need someone there to support you, some people may not have that support at home. Some people may not even be aware, but if others can see, you're not acting right or whatever, that's where we can help.
Cool. And let's say, for example, hopefully we've got 23s listening now, 80s listening now to the show, tuning in. So this part of the show, and then towards the end, we talk about advice. So again, you're on the advice game. So we look at like different key stakeholders within the academy world, and like we ask for like one single piece of advice that you could give somebody. So going back, we've got a young person, 18 years old, struggling in their scholarship, in their second year now. What bit of advice would you give to that young person struggling to get into the team?
Bit of advice I would give them. I would say, trust the process. Not even just football. This is a lesson in life that nothing happens overnight. You can't really watch what other people are doing. You've got to trust in your own path. Your time will come. Can you take the opportunity? What a PE teacher always used to say to me, what is it? Failure to prepare, you got to prepare to fail. So just be prepared for when your opportunity does come. Make sure you take it.
Cool. If you were going to go transition into the first team, so you're going to transition to the first team, you've got tomorrow you're going to go train with the first team. Anything you could give that young person? Because we can always say, look, just go out and express yourself. Just go out and express yourself. For me, it's easy to say that because I'm not going out there. I ain't been out there, so me just saying that, do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's the right thing to say, but may necessarily at that point may not be the best thing to give that advice. So if someone's going into that first team tomorrow, then they're training with the first team, what are you saying to that person?
I would say don't overthink it. Like, you're going to do something that you do every day anyway. So don't, because of someone's the name on the back of their shirt, that anything's changed.
Yeah.
So when you're saying express yourself, it's right. Do what you do normally. Doesn't matter who you're with. Who kind of have that selfish drive, that selfish mentality that I'm going to show what I do and why I'm here. And it's no pressure. Just literally express yourself.
See, any question there? I've got the last 3 questions.
Just in terms of my background as well as coaching, so I probably wouldn't come from a coach's perspective, but if you just going through what you went through in regards to transition from academy football, thinking about Fulham, thinking about Arsenal as well, thinking about when you went back to Crystal Palace, what would you say to any coach dealing with, a 9-10-year-old you, or a 13 you, or a 17, 18 you?
I would feel just remember that they are children. I know you worry about your own career as well, but at that age, I feel like make it enjoyable. Don't make it like army based, like it's a drill. And that's what I felt like at certain times. I would get quite anxious knowing that I'm like, tonight I've got football. I've got to go and we do a half an hour warm up without a ball. I'm
dead, mentally dying.
Yeah, mentally, you've lost me. Just little things like that. Just take into account to their age, their ability, and some coaches can get so caught up in the points that they want to put across, and kind of push it on the players, but the players won't respond well. Just to that, take into account their education, what they want, what.
Good question. Coaching, that was a good question.
Good, nice.
All right, no, Kieran, really, really appreciate you coming down. I know traffic getting down is crazy, and etc. But no, I really, really do appreciate you coming down and sharing your knowledge and your experiences with everybody.
No, thanks for having me.
Nah, thank you, Kieran.
Cheers,
Well done.
cheers.
Nice man.
Thanks, man.
All right.
So it's time.
Little stretch. Oh, Jesus.